Aries, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early January 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes into the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Aries collective. Talk to me, my guides. What do you got for us Rams as we begin a beautiful new calendar year? What's happening as we move into January proper? What energies, messages, insights can we take a peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And then at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Aries. Please and thank you. What's the vibe? What's the energy you have around for us? I mean, there's been a lot of really positive energy in recent weeks, so we're going to hope that that continues. And yeah, this is a very complex card whenever I see it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. There's just like a lot of moving pieces. It's dense symbolically, so there's a lot of layers connected to it. Now, before we get into this, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the January subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more about this card. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of moving parts here. We see this lovely lady. She's like wrapped up in a blanket. We have an orange cat. We have a bird cage, butterflies flying out of it. So maybe it's a butterfly cage instead. The chessboard with the moving pieces, and we have the queen there. So when I see this, the first thing I always think of, especially in recent times, is complex situations. So for a lot of Aries in this time, there might be certain things that look a little simple when you take a real quick look at it. But I mean, there might be a lot going on underneath the surface. So to me, it's like, okay, well, yeah, there might be more going on than what it seems. Okay, so there's a big complexity connected to this. Now, aside from that, I feel like this is a very strategic card. Yeah, there's themes of like freeing yourself of things and burdens, but with the chessboard, we could be thinking of strategy, planning. So is there something that you need to plan out a little better? Is there someone connected to you that they're in the works of planning something? Like it's moving chess pieces on the board when this card comes out. So I feel like we don't need to dig too much deeper into it. I mean, aside from the complex situations, and that could come in a variety of different ways, whether it's like career, personal, but we're just going to leave it at that for now. Let's get into tarot. And I always say that first card there doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's see what we have here for Aries gang in early January, please. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. At least for the last 2 weeks, it's been a really great energy approaching the Aries collective. And last week's reading was probably the best reading I've done for Aries, period. Okay, now, yeah, there were a lot of great cards, but just the energy it was making me feel, I was very hopeful. And that's why the reading was titled Best Reading Ever. So hopefully you had something great coming at you this week. I mean, that energy could bleed over. So hopefully we're all starting this new calendar year off right. But we're going to see what shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Aries gang. What do we have in early January, please? What is happening? Okay, 3 of Wands. A big card of manifesting. Could be somebody in a holding pattern as well. And we'll discuss this more. This is another card that I always say, yeah, it seems very simple. It seems like there's not a lot happening there. Let's get a couple more, and we'll start talking about it. But I'm already getting similar vibes. Like there might be more than meets the eye. Okay, 7 of Cups. A lot of choosing, a lot of thinking, a lot of pondering. I do like this card. That's my menu board of life. That could be really fantastic for manifesting. Both of these cards connected. Let's get one more out here. Let's see what we can see. What do we got for Aries, please? Queen of Wands, cool. So that's one of our cards. And remember, it's not gender specific, very confident type of energy. So I really like whenever she shows up, especially in an Aries reading. But yeah, let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know, I always look at the elements first. And I see probably the biggest comfort element for us, because we are the first cardinal fire sign. We have fire here. We have the 3 of Wands, Queen of Wands. This is an element we are very comfy, cozy with. So it's about action. It's about confidence. It's the internal combustion within you. Now, it's interesting how it plays, because on the front here, yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot's happening, not a lot of action with those cards. But when I see a lot of Wands energy, it's like, all right, something's going to pop off here. Something's building up. So I'm liking it, especially with the different choices and paths and a little bit of strategy going on. So let's go through piece by piece and really start to build this out. I mean, especially her on the back end, I'm pretty hopeful, but I don't want to get too optimistic just yet. Position number one, that's where we'll start. We have the beautiful Three of Wands. Now we see this individual looks like they're standing on the side of the sea or a shoreline of some sort, and they are looking out at the horizon. They're looking out at the distance. There's a ship that's coming in. This is a big card that connects to manifesting and creating. I think of things that are almost upon us, where it's like, all right, there's a result or something you've been wanting for a while, and it's almost here. It's almost within reach. Really good. Now, I always like to give you both sides of the coin. This is great for bringing things towards you and something about to pop off. Okay, so whether it's something you've been waiting on or working towards for a long time, this can be good. It does have little hints of strategy and planning to it, especially when we combine it with the Seven of Cups right next to it. But when we get to the challenge of the Three of Wands, sometimes it could be a little stubborn. Sometimes it can be a little problem or a situation that's not really moving, because this card does connect to like an energy that's kind of just waiting. So whether you're waiting on something, whether someone's waiting on you, it all really depends. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot going on the surface. Okay, and the same could be said with the next card that we have coming up. But again, don't ever let the fire energy fool you, because although it may seem calm, it's like, okay, no, it's coming. Something's coming. Something's brewing. Now, moving to the center, we have the beautiful Seven of Cups. I love this card. And of course, just like all of them, does have some positives and challenges. And we see this individual, it looks like they're choosing from a menu board. That's why I call this the menu board of life. So again, it's about positive visualization, creating, manifesting, having a clear vision of what you want. So there are little undertones to a lot of thought-based energy planning. Which cup am I going to take? Which route am I going to go? This is a fantastic card for options, choices. So for when I see these two together, I think it's a pretty good combination. But the challenge is very similar to what we have here. I mean, there might not be a lot of action happening just yet. Now, the Seven of Cups, a big challenge with it can be overthinking, overanalysis, analysis paralysis, things like that. There could be a lot of fantasizing and daydreaming and just overthinking. So there could be very specific situations, multiple, that are like, I don't want to say plaguing your mind, but are just like stuck in your brain, stuck on replay. So whether that's you or somebody else, it's like something's replaying over and over and over again. And we'll talk about that more, but because it can be good. Again, with the manifesting that both of these cards have, I feel like something's coming. I really do. Now, on to the back end, we have what might be the more or most important card so far, the beautiful, confident, sexy Queen of Wands energy. So again, it's not gender specific, so it could be any Aries. And one thing that comes with all queens is they represent the internal aspect of every suit. So just like I mentioned, when it comes to Wands, it's action, it's that internal combustion within you, it's your motivation, it's your passion. There's a lot of fire connected to this card. I think of self-confidence when I see her. So whether there's something you were very confident about, where it's like, okay, yeah, well, whatever comes my way, I'm good. For some Aries, it might be a little less confident about certain things when she shows up, if we're talking about the challenging side of her. But one thing I always want to say, especially with the Three of Wands here and what I was saying about something seeming calm on the surface, is fire energy can be very unpredictable. Okay, so it could go from 0 to 100. It could be a spark or something that sparks off. It's very explosive and volatile. Now that can be really good depending, but at the same time, the unpredictability of it could be a little uncomfortable. But listen, as an Aries myself, I know we're good with rolling with the punches. So this isn't really an energy that concerns us. And yeah, I mean, she could also, when we clarify it, show us something that's coming towards us. But I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay. Let's get a good shuffle here. See what's happening for Aries gang and guides in early January 2025. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Three of Wands. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Aries, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, Three of Wands time. What's this waiting game? What is this waiting? Please. Good. Whoa. All right. Waiting on someone to make a move, possibly. Okay, either that or it's you like planning your next move like really carefully. And listen, again, as an Aries myself, I know that we do get the reputation of being very spontaneous. Like we just go with our passions. When something fuels our passions, boom, we're taking action. And when I see the Three of Wands with another card that could be us, this Knight of Wands, it's a card of action. So when I see this together, I feel like it's somebody either waiting to make the right move or waiting on someone else. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna see how this is gonna work out. I want to see what you do first. It's giving me that type of vibe. Now, again, with all the fire that we're seeing here, yes, there could be explosive aspects to different situations you're dealing with. So going from very calm to very fast, or from a little bit to a whole lot. It feels like a situation that can like really explode in intensity quickly. So, I mean, we still have the planning going on here. So I feel like this is going to be a very layered reading like that first card we saw. So a lot of things here. I like the Knight of Wands in the upright, though. I feel like that's good, especially in an Aries reading. But we're going to keep pressing forward, and we'll talk about it more during the recap. Like I said, either it's somebody waiting on someone else's move, or it could also just be that explosive situation type of energy where it's something that could just pop off. Let's keep moving. Let's see what that Seven of Cups has to say, especially if it continues to show me clarifiers like that, like 0 to 100. Let's see what's up. I mean, depending on how you channel this energy, this could be a fantastic thing for a lot of you. Could be a lot of big gains. At the same time, let's just see. Let's see what that Seven of Cups has. Okay. Page of Swords. This energy is much more cautious and practical, what we're seeing here on the front end. Okay. So listen, I don't know what every single one of you are going through. This could absolutely represent multiple people, especially with all these court cards we have showing up here. The Page of Swords is the Watcher of the tarot deck. So I can most definitely say this for a lot of Aries. There could either be a situation that you really need to keep an eye on and you need to pay attention to it, or you might have eyes on you. That could be definitely it, because the Page of Swords is a little more reserved. Whereas this energy, it's taking action, it's making moves, very explosive. Page of Swords is like sitting back, waiting. So it's like this interesting energy. The main vibe I'm feeling here intuitively, yeah, we still have something brewing, we have something coming, but this Page of Swords is waiting a little more patiently. Okay, so again, whether this is a situation that you really need to keep an eye on or keep some attention towards it, it's like, oh, don't forget about this, Aries. You want to keep your eye on this. Either that or there might be someone that's watching you and watching your moves. Doesn't necessarily feel like creepy or scary or sad. I'm not going to say that. But whenever the Page of Swords shows up, it's like it's watching all the things that are going on. Let's keep moving, though. We're not going to get stuck there. It is what it is. Now we have a whole bunch of different people possibly showing up here. So, I mean, maybe you're a little more social than you usually are. But let's go in on that Queen of Wands. Let's see what she has to say. Then we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow. Lots of information coming through. Different flavor than last week, that's for sure. But let's see what the Queen of Wands has. Why is she here? Thank you. And there it is. There's the action. Okay. So much is like shifting. So much is changing quickly. It's like, okay, yeah, just as I've been saying, now we have a lot of air mixed in with this fire. Like I said, explosive. So it's like action, reaction. Just with what we had here up front, where it's like, no, I'm going to wait and see what happens first. It's like as soon as a first move is made, then it's like boom, 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 boom. There's like, I don't want to say it's retaliatory, but it just feels like once something sparks off, there's just a lot of action happening. Now, this can be very good. Now, the Four of Swords, if it was in the upright, it's calm, it's not doing much, it's like very relaxed, and it's not moving. In reverse, it's like, all right, go time. Now's the time for action. So I do feel for a lot of Aries, whatever situations that do pop up or whatever it is you're going through, you should have a sense of confidence about it. Even if it doesn't feel like there's much you could do right now, yeah, there is. Like, you just got to keep moving. You got to keep it pushing. I feel like that's really nice. But it's like we have action, reaction. There's an explosiveness attached to the energy this week. And like I mentioned earlier, for us Aries, that is something we can work with. That is something we can roll with. And for some of you, this will turn out really well, okay, especially with the confidence I have here on the back end with the Queen of Wands. Because remember, she's alluring, she's very attractive. So it's like, all right, well, whatever actions happen could benefit you in a big way. So I really think this is nice, especially here on the back. But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card. So a lot of moving parts elementally, as I mentioned, a lot of fire, a lot of air. I mean, we have some water there in the mix too. But the whole top row, we'll start here in the front, but the top row seems very serene and still, like not much is happening. So it could be a little bit of a quiet period. But position number one here, we have the Three of Wands with the Knight of Wands. Someone waiting to make a move, waiting to take an action. I did say it's like, all right, well, I'm going to see what someone else does first. It's like giving me that kind of vibe. And it could also represent situations that can escalate very, very quickly. Now, that can be really good for a lot of you if you channel that energy properly. But it does feel like it could be an explosive situation, and we continue to see that. Now, moving to the center, there's a bit of a more patient approach to something. We have the Seven of Cups with the Page of Swords. So it's like two energies in a similar mode, but one is much quicker to act than the other. The Seven of Cups with the Page of Swords, I did say there might be a situation you really need to keep an eye on. Don't get distracted. Don't spread your attention too thin. There could be something where you need to really keep an eye on that. Either that or someone's having you under the magnifying glass. Moving to the back end, we have the Queen of Wands with the Four of Swords in reverse. Ties in with this explosive energy we're seeing here, the 0 to 100 type of vibe. But I feel like it's good confidence, and I feel like in the end, this energy could be very beneficial. So be confident with whatever it is you're dealing with. Even if things seem quiet right now, it's like it's not going to stay like that forever. And it's like action, reaction. So once something sparks off, it's like there's a lot, like a flurry of things. It's like action, reaction, reaction, reaction. It's like boom, 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 bouncing back and forth. So yeah, please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. And yeah, let's see what's in the shadows for you, Aries. So let's get a good shuffle here and see what's going on for my good friends, please. And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And if you've made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get this first card out. What do we have here? It's such a flurry of energy and activity in this spread. Okay. Nine of Swords, that's a little bit of a tense one for a lot of Aries. If you've been having sleep issues, if you haven't been getting too much sleep, this is a card that could be Spirit literally just saying like, hey, you might want to rest up a little bit, or there could be things surrounding sleep and dreams even. So for a lot of Aries as well, watch your dreams in this time when the Nine of Swords is here, because maybe Spirit's trying to guide you or give you pieces of information, little nuggets. I don't always say that this is stress-filled and stress-induced. When I see the Nine of Swords, it is somebody stressing it, but I'm not necessarily feeling like it's all of you. I mean, with all this, there could be someone that can't cope with the energy as well as you can. I mean, that could flip vice versa too, where there might be something you're not coping too great with, but someone else is, they seem fine. I don't think this is a terrible thing. It just feels very much on edge. And with what I was seeing here in this energy, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me, where it's like, yeah, it seems quiet, a little too quiet with that Nine of Swords. So we're just going to leave it at that. Try not to get too amped up or anxious when that card is there. But yes, Aries, that's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the January subscriber surprise. If you would like to get a personal reading from me and get a little forecast for what 2025 has in store for you, you can check out my website and digital calendar at mastermetaphysics.com to look for availability. But for the January subscriber surprise, we are once again giving away 3 copies of the beautiful Everyday Witches Tarot. It's one of my favorite decks. And if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, what is your main goal for the 2025 calendar year? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab as usual, my friends. Much love, and I'll see you soon.